The wall pushed me with the inexorable indifference of a machine. I dug my heels into the floor, my rubber soles screeching against the smooth gray material, but it was useless. I was a speck of dust being swept off a table. Inch by inch, I was shoved toward the precipice. The open air of the silo rushed to meet me, smelling of ozone and ancient dust. I stared out at the dizzying drop, my toes curling over the edge of the floor. "Please," I screamed into the void. The wall gave one final shove. I fell. The wind roared in my ears, whipping my hair across my face, blinding me. My stomach dropped into my throat. I squeezed my eyes shut, waiting for the impact, waiting for the tearing of flesh, waiting to be unraveled like the others. I fell past row after row of empty cages, a plummeting stone. But the impact never came. Instead, my descent slowed. It was not the sudden stop of a parachute, but a gradual thickening of the air around me. The atmosphere turned viscous, like warm honey. I opened my eyes. I was floating 10 feet above the writhing surface of the creature. Up close, it was terrifyingly magnificent. The shifting vapors were not just smoke. They were composed of millions of tiny, luminescent runes that swirled and danced. And the eyes, the two burning stars, were right there, vast and ancient, fixated on me. I hung suspended in gravity that should not exist. I was not being eaten. I was being held. A thought not my own detonated in my skull. It was a voice that bypassed my ears entirely, deep and resonant, vibrating through my very soul. "Found you." My limbs tingled, a strange warmth spreading through my chest. The terror that had gripped me moments ago began to bleed away, replaced by a surreal, overwhelming sense of belonging. It was the feeling of walking into a warm house after a blizzard. "What are you?" I whispered aloud, though I knew instantly it was a he, could hear my thoughts. The thoughts, heavy with the weight of eons, settled in my mind, hungry, lost, waiting. A tendril of the shifting smoke rose up, solidifying into a massive hand that was surprisingly human in shape, though composed of starlight and shadow. One finger, larger than my entire body, brushed the air near me. The sensation was electric, a jolt of pleasure that arched my back and forced a gasp from my lips. The others, the voice explained, the tone a complex harmony of sorrow and discovery. They were dissonance, static. You are the resonance. The realization hit me with the force of a physical blow. The singing, it had not been a lure for food. It had been a sonar ping, a mating call. He was not eating the others because he was cruel. He was consuming them because they were noise, debris in his search for the signal. "For me, Elara," he spoke my name in my mind, and the sound was a physical caress. I felt a phantom touch trace my cheek, my waist, intimate and possessing. I should have been repulsed. I should have been horrified by the mounds of dead prisoners that had fueled this search. But as I looked into those burning eyes, I felt a darkness in myself answer him. I saw my own loneliness reflected in his cosmic isolation. We were both trapped in boxes, mine made of drywall and routine, his made of geometry and hunger. "You are trapped too," I said, tears floating off my face in the zero gravity. Since the stars were young, the mental voice was laced with an infinite sorrow. The smoke swirled around my legs, pulling me closer. "Stay," he pleaded, the thought a silken rope pulling me closer. "Become part of the weave, end the silence." I reached out, my hand trembling, toward the massive face forming in the mist. I wanted to touch him. I wanted to dissolve into that song and never worry about spreadsheets or empty apartments again. I felt the connection snap into place, a golden thread tying my ribcage to his core, faded, inevitable. His form shifted, condensing, trying to become something small enough to hold me without breaking me. A shadowy torso, a face of terrible beauty, emerging from the chaos. He hovered inches from me. A possessive growl echoed not in the air, but in the deepest parts of me, vibrating in my belly, my heart. Mine. But as his shadowy substance brushed my bare arm, I hissed. The skin blistered. He recoiled violently, the song fractured into a discordant note of panic. His panic was a knife in my own mind. No, too fragile, too bright. The realization washed over him, and I felt his despair choke me. I was flesh and blood. He was pure energy and void. To touch me was to burn me. To absorb me was to kill the only thing that had ever sung back to him. "I do not care," I sobbed, reaching for him again, ignoring the stinging pain on my arm. Do not let me go. The eyes narrowed. The immense swirling mass beneath us began to spin faster, generating a wind that howled. His despair choked me, a wave of cosmic grief. I cannot keep you without destroying you, and I will not destroy my heart. No, I shouted, please. Return, Elara. The command was gentle but absolute. Grow strong. I will find a way to cross the bridge without burning it. The world began to spin. The gray walls of the silo blurred into a kaleidoscope of nausea. And a final, desperate thought, a promise that seared itself into my memory. Wait for me. The force of his will slammed into me, not an attack, but a shove of protection. I was flung upward, away from the warmth, away from the song, back into the cold, silent indifference of the universe.
Want to keep the flame ignited without having to wait for the next part? You can find the full, tantalizing tale on our main page. See the link in the description.